Hello, welcome to Pro Mixing and Mastering. Today I'm going to teach you and show you how to mix Kirk Franklin Vocal type in Cubase. We're going to start by creating groups, then we're going to go to EFX channel tracks, and after that we're going to start mixing. And this is how the song sounds like. So right now let's go ahead and create our group number 1 and group number 2, and then from there we're gonna create FX track 1 and 2. So just come to an empty space, come to group channel, let it be stereo in order for you to the reason is for you to be able to pan these vocals which are recorded in mono from left to right or right to left, or from center to right or from center to left. So in this case I want to create two groups. One is gonna be for a verse and one is gonna be for the chorus. So 1, 2, just like that. Then the next one, we have 1 and 2 already created. Then the next group tracks that we're gonna create are for effects like delay or reverb or doublers. So let's go ahead and do the same procedure. The only difference is that now we are coming to add FX channel track. So our first is gonna be, let it be in stereo. Our first is gonna be our reverb A from Steinberg Cubase. All right, let's go ahead and create a second FX channel track, which is gonna be a delay. Go to delays, delay, and we are gonna use double delay, just like that. We want to add a little bit of some delay to the vocals in order for the vocals to sound great. So now that we are done, the third step is to take these verse vocals to group number 1. So let's go ahead and route these to group number 1. And how you do it is just coming on the vocal, stereo out, group 1. I'm gonna do the same thing to all the vocals, group 1. These are our verse vocals, so the verses are gonna go to group number 1. Let's go ahead and finish this. And reason is because we want all the effects that we are gonna use into group number 1 to affect all the verse vocals, and that makes it easier for you to mix, and also helps your RAM to not overload. So now that we are done with the verse vocals sent to group number 1, let's go ahead and take our chorus vocals into group number 2. So this is gonna go to group number 2. These two is just gonna go to group number 2, group number 2, group number 2, so that all the effects that we add into group number 2 can affect only the vocals, the chorus vocals, and not affect the verse vocals. So all the vocals have individual groups, separate groups. So group number 2, and these are give outs. They are gonna go into group number 1, and these being the same as the verse are gonna go into group number 1. So now that we are done with creating groups, number 4 or number 5, what we are going to do now is to pan the vocals. Panning is gonna create a lot of space and a lot of room for your instruments to be able to see it, and also for the vocals to just sound nice. That's the reason why you have to pan. Panning is basically taking one vocal to the right and the other to the left. And how I love to do it is this: I would take all the sopranos to 45. They're gonna be calculated 45 plus 45, and what you get is what you put. So in this case, let's go ahead and get our calculator so we can be able to calculate our panning. So this is how you calculate your panning. There are a lot of producers who just pan without calculating their panning. So in order for you to get a perfect panning, how to get a good and perfect panned vocals, you have to use a calculator. So the first one being our soprano, we are gonna pan these to 45. So let's go ahead and pan this to 45 right, and the next soprano vocal is going to be panned to 45 left. Then the next soprano is going to be panned according to calculation, which is going to be 45 plus 45 equals to 90. So the next soprano is just going to be panned to right 90 exactly. Pan it to 90 for you to get that good sound. Then the next one is going to be panned to left, and left is going to be panned to 90 also, in order for you to get that good perfect panned vocal. This is how you do. Then the autos one is going to be 45, the same procedure, and one is going to be 45 left, the same procedure. And the tenors, since we have 1 and 2, one is going to be 90 right, and the other tenor is going to be 90 left. This is how you do it in order for you to get good panned vocals. And now we go to our chorus vocals. One is going to be 45, and the other one is going to be 45 left, the same procedure. And the other one is going to be 90, and the other one too is going to be left 90. Remember, whenever you pan your vocals to the right, you have to pan the other to the left. Then the autos, one is going to be 45, and the other one is going to be 45 also. Then the tenor is going to be 90 right, and the other one is going to be 90 left. So let's go ahead and pan 90 left. Just like that. And now these are like verses, so we don't need to pan the verses. They are just gonna be on the center. The center is this C. It shows you that your vocals are on the center. So now let's go ahead and play our vocals once again. You can see an indication of panning right here on the indicator. One is panned 90 and one is panned 45, and this is very good. It allows you to be able to visualize what's really happening with your panning. So let's go ahead and play this. Very nice panning, perfect panning, and this is how you perfectly pan your background or chorus vocals or verse vocals. This is great. So now let's go ahead and begin to balance these vocals, which I have highlighted by pressing P, so that we can I can have the vocals or the playback circulate. That makes the work easier, so you can continue working on the same vocals. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna play this, then I'm gonna start balancing the vocals. But before that, let's go ahead and add our first effect in group number one, which is gonna be an EQ, just to get rid of certain unknown frequencies just a little bit. So let's go ahead and use FabFilter Pro Q3. Pro Q3 helps to warm the vocal. It also comes with extra volume, so that is gonna help the vocals to sound bigger and boosted. So let's take it to 30 dB. I love to work from there. So now you guys are gonna see me cut certain frequencies and also boost certain frequencies. Let's go ahead and do that. So what I've done right now is just doing a low cut, removing that low frequency around 47.998 hertz. Just that is enough. And now what I'm gonna do is just try to work around the 200 hertz and also the 500 hertz and also the 2k, 1k, and all the way to 10 and 20k. So let's go ahead and just remove frequencies. We are working on a gospel song, so we are not gonna give it too much highs like the way trap music does. We are just gonna make it warmer. So let's go ahead and work on this. Alright, so far what I've done is I've rolled off the low end, just like what I said. Then I have boosted up around 304, boosted it up. Why? I want the background vocals to sound warmer and to sound settled. So that's what you do, especially whenever you are working on a gospel song. Then I have cut around 739 hertz just to remove that rumble or unwanted frequency. There is a certain frequency I did not like there, so I had to cut it a little bit. And around 1995 I had to do what is called a dynamic EQ, just for that particular frequency to be cut out whenever the dynamic EQ detects that frequency, and that's the reason why I have made this a dynamic EQ. Then I have boosted up around 5036.5 hertz to open up the vocals, and since these are like female vocals and there are many, there is need for them to be opened up a little bit so that there can be space. And I have also raised up around 11,553. I've raised up the highs a little bit more in order for the vocals to open up even more. If you need this preset, just hit me up in the comments section below and I will definitely send it to you. So let's go ahead and close this and take a listen to this. Next, what we are gonna do is add a compressor so we can compress some of those frequencies. So let's go ahead and use a Cubase compressor, and this is the compressor that we are going to use for our backing vocals. I love to start by testing out the presets. This one is nice. The only thing that I'm gonna do is take it out from auto, then I'm gonna raise up the gain to a level I feel like is good for my ears, to my ears. For now, let's go ahead and balance these so that the soprano, alto, and tenor can be into each other. So let's go ahead. Let me just cut this vocal, which is a little bit higher, take it down a little bit, just like that. And of course, don't forget to crossfade. Just whenever you cut, come to audio, highlight, and come to audio, and come to crossfade X, so that you can have a smoother transitioning into another set of vocals. Now, what I love to do is going in and just throw in a maximizer. Just try to maximize the backing vocals so we can like get those frequencies which are still in the background up front a little bit more. So let's go ahead and add a maximizer to the backing vocals. I actually love the first backings, so what I'm gonna do is just do this. Make sure that I just get the first vocals. The first vocals sound really nice to my ears. It's just certain things that I'm loving. So what I'm gonna do, since they are the same, I'm just gonna do that and highlight these, take them there, and then Control D and just duplicate. We see how this is gonna be. It's gonna sound like. And now let's go ahead and add in a second EQ. The reason is, once you have added your first EQ, then you have your compression, then you have your maximizer, and a lot of frequencies tend to be raised up. So now what we are gonna do is just try to add in a second EQ and trim some of those frequencies just a little bit, not too much. That second EQ is just going to be used just to trim it a little bit. So let's go ahead and get our second EQ, and we are gonna use F6 stereo EQ, this time from Waves, and try to surgically work on those background vocals on the verses and see how best we can make them sound better. So here we go, same EQ, a little bit different of course, but it's gonna be used to do exact the same job. Right now what I'm doing is I'm using this particular EQ to boost and also to dynamically compress those frequencies just a little bit. as you can see, I have also wrote off a little bit of that low frequency due to compression and maximization. And now what I'm doing is boosting and cutting a little bit. I'm boosting, cutting a little bit. So let me go ahead and work on this. I think this sounds great, so I have boosted up a little bit and made it dynamic, so whenever the frequency is like too much, this dynamic EQ is just gonna like cut it a little bit so it doesn't sound too sharp. This is one great thing about F6 stereo EQ. Let's go ahead and add in a restoration plugin, which is a denoiser, so we can warm the vocals a little bit by removing that floor noise and those unwanted frequencies. So let's go ahead and add go to restoration and add a denoiser from Cubase. I love to set it on medium, that's where I start from. So let me turn it off, then I'm gonna turn it on. Now you really have to be careful, especially when you are setting your denoiser, because sometimes if you put it up, your vocals are not gonna sound great. So you have to really experiment, like, let me try it up, let me try it on the middle or before the compressor, let me try it after the compressor, or let me put it down. Like in this case, the vocals sound nice when we add this right at the bottom of plugins. Let's go ahead and link our FX channel track to group number 1. So sends, go there, reverb A. The first thing that I wanna add in is reverb. Reason why I have added an EQ in our FX track is because I want to raise a little bit of those the presence, the reverb presence has to be heard in the vocals, in the background vocals. So I just want that effect to be there. And let's go ahead and add a delay to these vocals. They're really gonna sound great with a delay. So let's go ahead and open up a delay, turn on, let it be on quarter, and the rest are just gonna be like that. Then you can control your volume from here. Now another plugin that we are gonna add is called a get. So let's go ahead and get a get, so that those places where the singer is not singing can be silenced. So take this to a place where the vocals start from, and then those places are gonna be silenced just to clean up the vocal even a little bit more. So guys, this is where we are so far. We have used Fab Filter, Maximizer, Compressor, F6, Stereo from Waves, Reverb A, C1 Get Stereo, just to control those places where the singer is not singing. And we have done all this, and make sure you watch part 2. Don't forget to subscribe and share and like.
kile lekeni jeni jeno jimone kele